Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome to the GameCola Podcast. This is podcast number 112, and I am your host and podcast commander, Joseph Martin. With me today, I have a lovely group of people, including Bryniarski, James Pelster, Alex Jedraszczak, and John Rizzi. Everyone, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Bryniarski. I write sometimes, and I'm also social media trash queen. All hail.
Hi, I'm James Pelster, and I have a lot of really noisy things in my room.
I'm Alex Jedraszczak, and I am currently in a very empty room, so I might be a bit echoey.
And I am John Rizzi. I make videos for the YouTube channel, and this is my first podcast. Yay!
Yay!
Welcome.
This isn't your first...
As a staff member.
As a staff member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were also on the year-end awards Christmas stream. So if anybody tuned into that, you were on that. I think the first part of that went up on the YouTube channel a couple days ago.
Yeah, so if you want to hear more of my annoying voice, go right ahead.
And the second one will be up the Monday after this podcast goes up.
I have trouble calling you John. I almost called you Rizziman.
Oh my god, no.
Do you not like that name anymore?
I made that name when I was 11.
Oh, nice. You know, technically, you have to check a little box that says, I certify that I am 13 years of age or older.
Did you
when you go on the internet.
Did you do a lie?
I had my dad do it.
Oh, okay. I think there
lie on
is
the
a thing
internet.
that
That's
says
the law.
that you have parental approval.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But no,
didn't you listen to all those TV commercials that were like, get your parents' permission before going
Right.
online?
Yes, and I was a good boy.
Okay, so we've got a theme this podcast. Hooray!
Wow.
Yay.
Harkening back to the 60s of the podcast. I think that's around when Boring Gas Problems was.
Yeah, Boring Gas Problems was episode 36. I actually looked it up before the...
Oh, okay, so
Oh my god.
older than I was thinking. I thought it was 60s. No, because it would have had to been before I started doing the podcast, and I was in the podcast at 50.
You know, I was thinking, I was looking at the date, and I was like, it was 2011. It wasn't that long ago.
It was only 6 years
6
ago.
years.
So, in timely GameCola fashion, we're going to return to that. I've found some great
6 years later.
Yahoo answers questions about video games. And I will also admit, total transparency, part of the reason this came to me is because I've been listening a lot to a podcast called My Brother, and Me, where three brothers answer. The whole premise is that they answer funny Yahoo answers questions. But it's not GameCola's done before, so it's not copying. So
We just copied a long time ago.
nobody write me any angry email. I mean, you can write me angry emails.
If we can
If you
copy it
want.
once and no one gets mad, we can copy it
Oh,
a
I
second
will.
time.
I will.
All right, so are we ready to go for the first one?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So this first question: how to ask someone out using Pokemon? Hi. I want to ask him out using a Pokemon reference, but I don't know anything about Pokemon.
Oh.
I was thinking of making a Pokeball and asking him if it would work against him because of the provided picture. That's when he told me he liked me. He really loves Pokemon, so I don't want him to have to correct me. Sorry if that idea actually makes no sense. That was the question.
You should be sorry.
So,
That's
how
kinda
can we get this person to ask out this guy using Pokemon? What is the best way? I want your ideas. Hit me with them.
That they like shorts. They're really comfy.
Those shorts look really comfy, and if I may be so bold, easy to wear.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Okay, that's a good option. Any other?
Have a Rattata in the top 10% of Rattata.
Oh, it's a top percentage.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. Some people find that character annoying. So that might,
What?
even
I
though
do.
it's a...
No. Stop that.
This is why you don't... That's rule number one of any time you play through Pokemon Crystal is you don't accept youngster Joey's phone number. Because then
actually
he
never
constantly
played
calls
Pokemon
you
Crystal.
whenever you don't want to hear from him.
As opposed to if he called you only when you wanted to hear from him.
But yeah, that's why you just deny everyone their phone number in Pokemon Crystal. Because it was the
But then you
most
can't
annoying
rebattle.
feature ever.
That's how you rebattle people. At least in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that's like the mechanic for rebattling them when they're strong.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not worth it.
So maybe a good Pokemon themed dating tip is to ask for his phone number.
Oh snap!
That works so well.
Actually, I haven't played Pokemon in a long time, but an option is to, since you can share your Pokemon between one or two, your friend or whatnot. Maybe you can secretly name one of your Pokemon. Will you go on a date with me, or your phone number, or what's your phone number or something, and they can see that on the screen and be like, oh snap.
So I heard you like Mudkips.
Name
Aw.
digits PLZ. I do want to point out that there's a parenthetical here that says that's when he told me he liked me. So I think this isn't like the icebreaker. Like, this isn't like out of the blue, like, this is how I'm announcing my interest in you. I think this is
Well,
like...
you never know. That could mean, like, I like you as a friend or something like that.
Well, that's this person's problem. Like, if that misinterpretation has happened, there's nothing we can do about that.
Just throw Pokeballs at them. Pelt them with Pokeballs. It's fine.
Dude, so I think we've successfully helped this person.
You're welcome.
When is that question? When is that question from?
When? Oh, all of these are like a couple weeks ago. This one's from like a couple weeks ago, I think.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
I didn't go back that far. I got tired of
If you want
scrolling.
an answer to your
There's
question, check out
there's-
this podcast.
There's a lot of garbage. Most of the video games tab of Yahoo Answers is like Minecraft and Roblox.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, perfect. Haven't played any of those.
Okay, are we ready for a new question?
Yes.
All right. How do I join Switch in my health class? Today, in my high school health class, there were two guys sitting and playing Switch. And I am just wondering, how do I join their clan? Like, do I have to go through some kind of initiation? Or can I just go up and ask to play some Splatoon 2 with these guys?
I don't think this guy quite understands how video games work.
Well, here's the thing. He wants to do, like, in health class, they're sitting and playing Switch. So he's trying to figure out how can he play Switch with them during health class. Like, during the course of health
did
class.
these kids have permission to do that? Because, like, I
Well,
wouldn't
confused
want to do that.
4-year-old.
Like,
There is an initiation. It involves being, like, submerged in ink. Because you want to play Splatoon 2, you just submerged in ink.
You need to be able
must
to turn
die
it
just
into
like
a squid.
take a pen and just draw all over yourself.
No, people make those pen bombs that people made in my elementary school and just leave them in different places for you to find and have them explode on everything you love.
Well, no. In Splatoon 2, you got to cover the floor with ink, not yourself.
Oh, you're right.
You got to cover other people and the floor.
True, yeah.
But
The more the better.
covering other people kills them, so maybe don't do that to
you
them.
have to
Yeah.
search another person.
I'd say
Probably.
Make sure it's
Initiation should be-
non-toxic ink.
Yes.
I say the initiation should be complete Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, 100%, like all challenges and whatnot, within a week.
But they want to play Switch, not Wii U. You can't bring a Wii U with
You
you.
must
Bring a
conquer the
tablet
failures
and-
before the success.
Maybe
guy
they
just
live
wants
like
to
right
play
next to
Splatoon.
the school.
Oh,
Okay, so how can you communicate that you want to play video games with someone during class? Like, subtly. Because you don't want to get them caught, because then they definitely won't play Splatoon 2 with you.
I mean, first you need a Switch of your own.
That's a good first step. I want
I want to know how they're hiding the Switch underneath their school desks.
Or how they're
That's the
actually
bigger
playing
mystery.
Splatoon 2, which is like a really involved game. Like, you know, I'm surprised that you just didn't hear click, 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 click of the controllers.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest, no one paid attention in health class to begin with, so...
So, also, here's a question, because maybe if they only have one Switch, they might only be able to do two-player. Because, like, you can do the, like, thing where you take the two controllers off the side, and then they're playing
right.
one Switch together. Then that's going to be a trickier situation, because then it's like, you know, if you're playing GameCube and you got 4 controllers and you've got 2 people, and like, hey, can I join? And he's like, yeah, just grab this extra controller. But it's like, hey, can I sync up my Switch to yours? Or alternatively, can we like have a rotation going of like during this health class, setting up this rotation of Splatoon 2?
Actually, all this kid could do is just probably buy a separate Joy-Con of his own and just sync that up with the Switch.
Can you do that? Can you do
Yeah.
4-player with with multiple Joy-Cons?
I assume since they sell them separately.
I don't know. I
Actually,
feel
that's
like
a fair point. Actually, if they do sell Joy-Con, well, I don't know whether or not you can sync multiple sets of Joy-Cons at once. I think they sell them separately, actually, because they're different colors. Like, because you can buy the Switch with like the red and the blue, or the black ones, and then say you want to buy another set, and then you say, no, I don't like this color, so you can switch to a different color.
I thought there was like faceplates or something, or do you actually have to buy the whole controller?
There are faceplates, and there are separate controllers that are different colors.
So you can buy extra Joy-Cons if you want, but I don't think you can connect more than 2. Because I feel like I would have seen that in commercials or something.
This would probably be better if any of us owned a Switch.
Yeah, Diana, not on the podcast. She's the only GameCola staff person with the Switch.
I was gonna say, oh no, I was thinking of the 3DS where like if you just get their friend code, you can just like, I don't know, do whatever you can do if you have their friend code.
Yeah,
Does that work that way
true.
with the Switch?
I think they got rid of friend codes.
Yeah, I think they've changed that. I think you
Because
just
they
have
were-
friends, though.
Now
Because
you
they
can
were
send in
they were
ID.
long and stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it because they're like 32 characters long?
Yeah,
or
they probably just
whatever?
use Nintendo Network ID now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that superior somehow?
It's
I
like
mean,
a username. So it's
Oh.
much easier to remember because you get to pick it. It's not pre-designated.
Yeah.
It's not just random numbers and letters.
It's not,
Nintendo
even it's not
Facebook.
even letters, it's just a series of numbers.
All right. Question 3. If you played and died in enough video games, could your mind get reprogrammed and could your body literally forget how to die?
What?
What?
This guy's been
Played
watching too much of the
so
Matrix.
many video games that you trick your brain into thinking that you
That you
have
can
extra
just
lives and
restart.
can respawn,
No.
and so you just never die.
No,
how do
that's
you
not how life
forget
works.
how
You
to
can't
die?
do
That
that.
doesn't make
Hashtag VR is the future.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe you just need to play video games for 50 years. Because think about it.
With no
I mean,
other
I'm pretty sure
experience
that's-
with
that's-
mortality.
Yeah, that's also backwards logic, because after all, as we all know, if you die in the game, you die in real life.
That is a good
So I'm
point.
pretty sure that's
Oh,
not
man,
possible,
sorry.
because it goes against that rule.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I'm just saying, how long have video games been around?
70s?
Too many
70s,
years.
It's the 70s. So what? That's
40 years.
this. Yeah. So what if you have to play video games for 50 years? No one's done
That's a
that
good
yet.
point. Yeah.
Maybe we'll
It could still be
learn
going.
that for playing video games for 50 or 60 years makes you immortal. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No one's played that
unlikely,
many
but I
that
guess.
much video games.
I should get on that.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it depends on maybe you need to pay attention to which games you play, because if you play with just arcade games, then it's you get you die really easily still, and then you just get a couple
Well,
extra lives,
Yeah,
and you have to,
GTA 5 wouldn't work very well.
or
Just
your
a
brain thinks that you need to be given quarters to be brought
Yeah.
back to life.
I was gonna say-
Just shove the quarters in my ear. It's fine.
Insert coin.
Yeah, every
Keep
time
trying.
you go to sleep, someone has to feed you a quarter to wake you up.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, isn't that how real life works anyway? Is that the more money you have, the longer you live? If you're richer,
Only when you're supersonic.
Oh.
Does the Konami code work in real life? I wake
Uh,
up every
hang
morning.
Hang on, let me
Find the
check. Let me
buttons.
check real quick.
I wake up every morning, say up, down, left, right, BA start,
Nope, doesn't work.
and then I get 30 lives.
What did you unlock on Discord, James?
Nothing.
doesn't
I
that work
unlocked
on
looking
Google
like
or
an idiot
something?
because I just typed BA into chat.
Well, you didn't hit start; you hit enter.
I don't have a start key. Enter is the same thing.
Well, then that's
Just put a piece of tape over it and write start.
or just type the
Done.
word start and then hit enter.
Maybe you have to type it all out.
I'm trying to remember. I thought it was Google or YouTube or something where if you did that.
There's a lot of websites that do it.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a whole website dedicated to finding out secrets with the Konami code. I remember because I went exploring on it in high school.
All right, are we ready for another question?
Alright.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Is it possible to find something you lost a really long time ago
Yes.
Yes.
No. Okay, but listen.
We're
There's a little bit more to this question, which might make you revise your answer.
Okay.
This is going to be the dumbest thing I have ever posted.
That's
About 4
debatable.
years ago, I left my 3DS at the mall. It had so many memories on there, and the SD card had a lot of info. This is totally a shot in the dark, but is there a chance that the mall's Lost and Found still has it? Or do they throw things away after a certain amount of time? I even remember the exact place I left it. It was on a table in the Westfield Annapolis Mall food court right next to C-Mart. It was blue, tealish, regular size 3DS. It's dumb, I know, but something is telling me that I should keep trying to find it. Maybe someone picked it up and is waiting to give it back to the owner. Most likely not, though. I think if someone picked it up, they'd just delete everything and keep it for themselves. But you never know. So yeah, I'm basically asking if Lost and Found areas throw away their items all the time. Sorry for being so detailed. So good news, Lost and Found never throws anything away. I'm pretty sure that's a true fact. Like,
I mean, but also, it's. I would also like to point out that this guy posting stuff does have a bit of a flaw in that being so detailed, he's kind of undone himself, because if the place has kept this item for this long time, there are now a bunch of people on the internet who know the exact place that it was left and what it looks like.
That's a good point.
So they could just go in themselves and say, hey, I lost this thing at this place at this time.
Excuse me, I'm going to go take a field trip really quick.
Also, Annapolis. But how long ago? He's like a really long time ago, but
He said, like 3 years.
No, 4 years. 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
I mean, I'm pretty
So
sure they
here's-
would have thrown it away by that, or like sold
Yeah,
it.
given it
to
Someone
somebody.
would have found it.
So here's my question: why did it take him so long to think about
this.
Like,
Yeah,
why,
that's a very
if he's
good
known
question.
exactly where he left it? Like, was it just like he didn't know what happened to it, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, I left it in the mall. That's where it was." 4 years later.
Maybe it was like it's where his grandparents live, and he doesn't live there, and he remembers where he left it, but his parents didn't want to drive back. It's like a 4-hour drive, but he's going this summer. You know, something
He's
like
an
that.
adult now. He was, I don't know, how old is the 3DS?
Well,
Isn't
yeah,
that
maybe.
old?
Well, maybe he was 14, and now he's 18.
I mean, he if it was 4 years ago, he probably got the 3DS around the time it came out, because they came out like 2013, didn't they?
I think it came out in 2011. The first one came out in 2011.
If he's 18,
I
he
thought that
wouldn't
was the
post
Wii
this
U.
on Yahoo
The Wii
Answers.
The
U
Wii U came out in 2012.
Oh.
Maybe he's 15 and a half, and he just got his learner's permit.
Road trip!
Finally,
Awesome.
after all these years, I can finally drive a car to the mall to
For the
get an
express
old
purpose of
3DS.
finding a random thing that I left there 4 years ago that probably isn't still there.
Has anybody ever found anything that they lost in the Lost and Found? I don't think I've
I found
ever
something
found
that
it.
somebody else lost.
One jacket.
I
Not-
have a fun story. I went on a trip to Chicago with my family, my junior year of high school. I left my class ring on a counter, and people from the restaurant found it and mailed it back to my high school.
What?
Yeah, it was really cool.
I left
Wow.
I left shoes in a hotel once, and then a week later the hotel mailed it to me.
Wow.
I left oh my gosh, I left my entire DS case in a hotel in Washington D.C. when I was in 6th grade. All of my games were out of it though, so that's good.
So wait, you brought back all of your games and stuff, but not the case that they are put in.
Yeah, she lost it.
How do you do that?
She lost the case. How could she put the games in?
No, my parents got me these game holders, these plastic things you would put 3 games in,
Oh, the little...
I have one of those. Yeah.
and then
I see.
it went in my bag. But I might have had 1 or 2 games in that case, but apparently I didn't care about them that much. But yeah, I left that entire case, and I never got it back. And that was a long time ago.
I mean, if it was DS times, it's got to
10
be
years?
2010 or earlier. Yeah.
It was 10 years ago.
Pretty sure this is all giving us all a case of PTSD.
I wish people would just mail me stuff when I lost it. Like, just in general, like, anytime I lost something, it's just, like, in the mail, like, every week, it's just, like, here's everything you lost this week.
That would be really nice.
Just, like, I think, like, most weeks it'd just be, like, here's a package of 5 pencils. It's, like, great, can't wait to lose these again.
It would be funny if you just got, like, your driver's license mailed to you and you're like, wait a second. I didn't know I lost that.
Yeah.
And it is a ticket for losing it for driving without a license.
Man, when did I lose an entire 49 key piano?
I don't remember losing. I don't remember losing this gold bar.
For those who aren't me and Jetty,
Yes.
Jetty is moving, and he mailed me a piano that I got today. So that was the joke.
Wow.
Yes. He randomly received a package today, yes.
Oh, it was funny too. I don't know, Jetty. I think I sent you a picture of the email I got.
Yes,
It was
there's
like,
a large package in our small post office.
like, please come get this. We do not have space for it. It wasn't even that big. I think they were moving and so they were just clearing out all of the bigger packages. And just so happened that mine showed up the day they were like, everybody needs to get their packages now.
Well,
Like-
so I mean,
Ah,
I imagine any package that's larger than an envelope gets the same kind of treatment.
Yeah.
I guess.
Are we moving on to more questions, or did we want to change topics? Or...
I have a couple more, but I don't know if they're like. Well, we'll see. We can go through these more quickly. These were
Okay.
ones where I didn't know if we were going to be able to like talk as much during them. But some of them will be just funny to read out loud, I think. Like this one, I think there's not much we can talk about, but I just want to read it because it's just like, okay, here we go. In what language Asians speak in Asian game servers?
Oh my
no.
god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Like in
Someone
EU
must be
game
very
servers, Europeans speak in English, and in NA game service, Americans speak well in English too.
Oh my god.
So what language does Asians speak in Asian game servers?
They speak in Asian.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously.
They speak probably whatever their language is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
This
why,
guy
this
should
is why
learn.
it's difficult to have like global servers for that hemisphere, is because there are way more countries. Like there's a significant more portion of the Western Hemisphere that speaks one or two languages. So it's much easier to host like big countrywide game servers for giant populations. It's very difficult to do that for like Asian countries because they tend to speak several different languages.
I also find it hard to believe that there are not large non-English speaking sections of EU game service.
Oh yeah.
I just think this kid should learn what language he's typing before he posts stuff on the internet.
Good. Also a good point. Like, I mean, I feel like there's a common joke of like, oh, when like the things that like common Russian swears that are used in like that are put in chat for popular games, and I feel like that must be because that doesn't happen to me very often, so I feel like that must be like a European thing where there are large Russian populations for certain games. So I think this person is more wrong than maybe they initially even.
Oh, he's
realized.
totally wrong. 100% wrong. So if I game in Antarctica, will I have to learn to speak Antarctican?
You have to speak Inuit.
Is
I
there
don't
a
speak
Rosetta Stone for that?
Antarctican, but I can speak the same language as my uncle Arctican. All right, next question. So, okay, this one starts off a little more innocuous than the others, but I think it's good. Okay, can I get a babysitter while I stay home?
What does this have to do with gaming?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I want to play video games when my baby refuses to sleep.
Oh.
So, can you get a babysitter
Yeah.
to take care of your kid
Probably.
while you play video games?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You would be you would be frowned upon.
Well, I mean,
Lazy
I
can
mean,
be.
I mean, yes, you totally can. I mean, there's a lot of people that would frown upon you, but yeah,
Not
you
the
totally
babysitter.
could.
The babysitter's getting paid either way.
yeah, that's
I
what
mean-
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean-
saying the babysitter will, but I'm saying like people looking in from the outside are gonna say, "Ooh."
There are many ways to avoid your responsibilities.
But
That is
guys,
one of them.
he wants to play video games.
I mean,
I
yeah.
understand the incredible importance of that, but
Yeah.
You cannot deprive a man of his video games. What will he do? How will he properly be able to maintain his composure to care for a child if he cannot video game?
Buy educational video games and play with the kid.
But it looks
if
I
he's
think
like
the
a
kid is
baby,
supposed to
he
be
can't even
sleeping.
comprehend it.
Also, it's when my baby refuses to sleep, so I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think a good solution to child, you are supposed to be sleeping. I'll fix that by playing video games with you.
I'll fix that by ignoring you.
You
Wow.
need to be sleeping, so here's a screen that will keep you awake.
How
I
does
pity
baby
I'm
this
work?
kid.
the best parent that exists.
I mean, you want to know how to give how to give people video game addictions? That's how.
But okay, guys, I just thought of something even worse. When is the babysitter gonna play video games?
Oh.
I want to
You need a babysitter for the babysitter.
The babysitter will have to hire another babysitter to watch the baby while they play video games. But then that babysitter will have to hire another babysitter so that they can play video games, and it's just babysitters all the way down.
Yeah.
And now you've got a house full of babysitters playing all of your video games, and you're not going to be able to play video games because your house is full of like 20 babysitters.
Yeah.
It's the
Did this guy leave his phone number because I? Did this guy leave his phone number because I want to work with him?
So the moral of the
I'm
story,
a
I'm
Red
a
Cross
babysitter.
certified.
the
I'm a Red
moral,
Cross certified babysitter. I'm ready to take this job.
the moral of the story is don't hire a babysitter so that you can play video games because you'll end up with 20 babysitters playing all of your video games. That's the moral of the
And
story.
you have to care for the baby.
Or just try not to be a bad parent.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that too.
Or best of both worlds, play a video game where you are a parent. Like, have you ever seen? Have you? No,
Daddy
this
Simulator?
I don't want to play the
that's
Sims.
not
Who-
exactly what I was talking about.
Was it Who's Your Daddy or something?
Dream
Oh,
Daddy.
yeah.
No.
No, not Dream
It's-
Daddy.
The one where one person plays a baby trying to get
Yes.
into everything.
Yes.
There is that. I was thinking. There's more. There's this like whole genre of games that I've seen people talk about, where it's like you are a king raising a princess. It's like a whole genre.
Oh, yeah.
It's a weirdly specific genre.
Yeah.
But I think that might suit this person because then they can take care of child and play video games at the same time.
Yeah.
And then in the video game, your character wants to play video games, get their video stat boosted, so they hire a babysitter in the video game to take care of their video game child so that their video game character can play video games.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there's a
We call
mod
this-
for The Sims 4 that does that.
It's called Sitception.
This is the last one I have.
Don't worry, I have like 3 tabs open of more.
Oh boy.
What's
This one is
Beautiful.
like, more gaming broadly related, but it was just like so strange that I just had to put it in my list. Okay. Is there an Apple app that can manage queuing of players for a volleyball game? For example, there are 18 players waiting for their turn to play. Only 12 players may play at the same time, so the other 6 will have to seat and wait till a set gets finished. Is there an app that figures out order of play, management of queuing? Thanks. Update. For example, there are 18 players waiting for their turn to play. Only 12 players. They just edited the same thing, except they changed seat to sit. It's
Oh
the
my
same
gosh.
question.
That's the situation where you would just plug that into your calculator or like program it yourself, because I'm pretty sure no, that is a very specific case, and the answer is no.
You
Or
have
try-
2 teams.
Or use a line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait in
Use a
line.
line.
Yeah,
Have
just
the other
wait in
one sit
line.
down and just have them keep.
That's true.
Jeez.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
you just go to the back of the line when you
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out.
If I remember high school volleyball correctly, we just sat on the bench, and every time they rotated,
Yeah.
some guy would just go sit down at the end of the line. The first guy
Exactly.
would go there.
Yeah.
Done. Use your eyes.
I mean,
you don't need a nap.
We played like Foursquare. You know Foursquare, where it's like you've got 4 people like on each
Yes.
side and they're hitting the ball. And like when I was like 6, My whole grade was like, yeah, we'll just wait in line, and when someone gets out, you take to the place. Like,
Exactly.
we're 6, and we figure this out. It's not. You don't need an app.
This
for
isn't
that.
hard.
Just eyes and common sense.
They even use the word queue. Like, that's British for line. Like, that is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's British for line.
It's funny is I only like recently in the last couple of years realized that like the term that you use in like kindergarten when you say, oh yeah, draw a curly Q, they're not talking about like the letter Q.
Oh my gosh.
They're talking about a curly line.
Wait a minute. Is that.
My entire world.
Hold on a
Q,
second.
a cursive Q is kind of a curly Q.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
that's
also,
true.
But also, like, have you ever seen a line shaped like that? Like, if there was a curly Q, I would think more of like a snake,
It's called a wave.
like a weave, not like one of those like. I mean, a curly Q is like the little circle, like you like loop in and you get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right?
It's also called cursive handwriting.
Let me go to. I'm gonna go to Wiktionary.
I mean, how is it spelled? Because
Hold
I
on,
always
that's a good point.
spelled it in my head like curly CUE, which is not the same as like a line, because it's QU. QUE, which is
Can I
a
also just
dumb
say
way
that's
to
a
spell
dumb
word.
spelling?
It is the worst. Like, who was like,
Chuewe.
yeah, who was like, QUE. You know, I think this needs more vowels.
It's the same guy that made Colonel
Oh my god.
and Bologna.
Bologna.
I'm pretty
Like
sure it says
weird.
Bologna. I don't see it. There's a G in there. There's a G and then there's an A. I don't see no A. It's Bologna.
You're baloney.
Curlicue? Curlicue.
Wait, excuse me, what? Please write that down in the Discord chat, because that sounded very incorrect. What? Okay, so yeah, alternatively, curly Q.
Well,
Okay, dictionary.com says American English from curly plus Q, perhaps from the French Q, tail, or letter Q in its looping script form. So wait, but which is correct?
So a
No
curly
one
Q
knows.
is literally a curly Q.
Yeah.
Well, in
which
French
is what I
it-
thought it was.
In French, it makes more sense because, like, have the extra letters. Because in French, like, the last letters of a word just don't count
Yes.
most of the time.
So in order to get the Q, like the U sound, they had to add an extra U.
I mean,
Otherwise,
that's
it would
kinda
just
how
been-
French works. It's just you just add random vowels until you think the word sounds right, or better yet, you add random vowels until the word just sounds completely ridiculous, like you're having a stroke halfway through saying the word. Q.
I prefer Jetty's Quay Away.
I said Quay.
Oh, I thought Jetty said that.
No, that was me.
No. I sat there and I said Q.
Oh, okay. Well, like, okay, so 4 out of 5 people on this podcast have a name that starts with J. So, like, watching
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
things
true.
light up is throwing me off a little bit here.
You're one of them.
That's true. Hypocrite.
Anna would have the worst time.
my,
I
but
actually
see,
don't have the worst time because I can see names.
What were we talking about?
queuing for a volleyball game.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
Why do we need an app for that?
We
don't.
don't. That's
We
the
don't.
point.
Kids these days.
It's funny too because someone found a website that does it.
Really?
Cool.
Wow, they found a website that makes a line.
Yep.
Wow.
Congrats.
I gotta find me this website. That's incredibly
Here,
useful.
I'm gonna look at it and see what it says.
Bookmark it.
GameCola.net.
Like a 50%
tackling
Yeah, tackling your line problems.
tackling your video game problems and sports problems all in one pot.
Yeah, it's
Tell
true.
them
How
you
does
don't
that
need a
question
friggin'
relate
app
to
to
video
make a
games
line.
anyway?
Well, they were
This is
playing a
just
game,
no,
and
this
there
is
was a
just tournament
phone-
bracket.
There's a
software.
phone involved.
This is just how to do a round robin tournament bracket with teams, not players.
Why are all of these Yahoo answer questions like, is it okay if like I play video games? And I'm just like, yes, it's okay. And then there are others that are like, why don't girls play video games? Like, what?
Welcome to Yahoo Answers.
We should
Are
all
you
just
looking,
reply.
Are you looking at them yourself?
Yeah, I'm looking through some.
Do you get like different ones than I do? Like, does it Yahoo Answers try to predict what you would be able to answer? Because I don't have any of the questions like that.
Really?
Is it like, does Yahoo Answers
it's
know
telling
that
me
you
by
wrote,
relevance, so maybe.
know that you wrote like a article about like misogyny in gaming, and it's like, here, tell all women to play video games.
We should all just reply on every single one.
Then I don't
ask
know.
if there's
Then
permission.
why is it asking me all these questions about Minecraft and Roblox? I haven't played Minecraft in a very long time, and I haven't played Roblox ever. I don't even know what it is.
It's because of a girl. I don't know. Is
I'm
it
just
right
gonna-
to say
I'm just-
video game instead of video game?
Yeah.
What?
So that's all of the
Where
questions that I had.
Where they sell old video games for most money.
Where the cell?
Where the sell.
Where is the cell? Where the cell?
Where the
Scabble.
cell? Where the cell is this?
This guy belongs in a cell.
What the cell are you talking about?
Boy. Video games and internet are the new opium for the masses question mark.
Oh god.
See, the thing
Don't
about
get me
Yahoo
started on
Answers
these
is
people.
that they put a question mark at the end of thing. So
they
like,
think it's Yahoo Answers, so they have to be asking a question.
no, I mean like Yahoo Answers does it for you,
Oh, nice.
Oh my god.
which is why like sometimes you'll get like a sentence that just has a question mark, or sometimes you'll get like one with two question marks because they didn't realize that you can just put a question, so they put their own question mark, and then Yahoo Answers added another one.
I'm actually not sure that's
Nice.
the case. I'm pretty sure Yahoo Answers would be intelligent enough to determine whether the last
Oh, yeah.
character would be a
Yeah, it
question
looks
mark.
like
I
that
think
might have
probably
been a
just
thing that
people
used to
don't know how to
happen.
type.
That might be something that used to happen.
Because
Then.
that's the majority of people on Yahoo Answers.
How do I stop Allie from playing video games?
Who's Allie?
That's a good question.
Parentheses. Girls. And parentheses. Why don't girls play video games? Parentheses.
Well-
essay. And
well,
parentheses.
Anna, why do women not play video games? The floor is
I
yours.
don't know, guys.
That is demonstrably untrue.
Why don't you play video games, Anna?
I don't know.
Guys, I've never seen Anna and video games in the same room.
Right?
Oh
You
man.
think Anna might be video
Anna-
games?
I think,
Yeah.
I think,
Anna
I think
is
they might
video
just,
games.
I think they might be
Guys.
friend zoned.
Guys, video games and women were the same thing all
my
along.
Whoa!
I knew it.
Best conspiracy theory ever.
Yeah.
Girls and video
Someone-
games, question mark.
Someone call game theory
Why?
right now.
Don't
How
hate
do
the
I
player.
ask my parents if I can play video games?
But in the meantime, you played yourself.
It's summer now. I've been doing all my work. I've been grounded from video games for like 8 months. Oh, that's sad.
You must
Thing
have done
is,
something
when
really
I-
badly.
Yeah. The thing is, when I do start playing a video game for more than 1 hour, my parents call me obsessed. Okay, that's pretty awful.
Yeah, don't get
Typical.
me started on those kinds of questions, or you will never hear the end of it.
They say I could be doing better things. Well, I have dedicated 4 hours plus to schoolwork. I've been doing chores and I have been helping around the house. It's not like I'm even playing COD or something. I prefer Mario/Sonic/Zelda games. Okay.
Get this kid a medal.
Sounds like you just have bad parents.
Also,
No.
though,
No,
remember
parents
though,
all play.
remember that we are getting one side of this story.
Exactly.
That's
This
true.
is true.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
like I work 24 hours a day doing chores, and on that 25th hour I just want to play one tiny video game for 2 minutes, but my parents, my unreasonable parents, ground me to the basement anytime I say the word Nintendo. Like,
The only
Flies.
game I've ever played is the original Super Mario Brothers for the NES.
Video games.
Time flies when you're having
Yes.
fun, so 1 hour to this kid could be 5 hours in parent time.
Is there a job for specific, like SPA, specifically?
Specifically.
Specifically.
I also work at a spa, so
Yeah,
specifically.
Oh, specifically. Like,
Specifically.
Specifically
Space
reviewing video games. Yes, there is.
It's called GameCola.
I think this is something that I might want to do. How would be able to do this as a job? Is there any schooling I need? I want to know everything.
I mean, you need to take lots of English classes, and I don't mean that just because they're misspelling. I mean, like, actually. No, seriously. You need to be good at English or whatever language.
You need James.
Writing
James. You need to be well English.
oh yes. Excuse me.
You need to do English
to be well
good.
at English.
You need to have a very good at English. Just as, like, I will be in the now.
I before E, especially after C.
This conversation is hurting my head.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh god, my headache is getting worse. Oh my goodness. Have you ever cried playing a video game? Aw. Probably.
Yeah, once or twice.
Walking Dead.
Not because the video game was sad or anything, just like the mere act of playing which is like, it's so beautiful. There's a controller in my head and the TV changes based on it.
Okay, you make jokes, but I've probably actually done that before.
I
like,
pushed the button and he jumps.
Danganronpa is one of the few games that can do that to me.
I think I almost cried playing the second Huntful Boyfriend game, because it was actually sad. And it made me angry. So that sadness just got transferred into anger. I'm looking through my Steam library to see if there are any that made me cry.
I'm having Walking Dead flashbacks.
You have like a folder that's like games that have made me cry, like avoid unless you want a sad.
I have a list of movies that made me cry.
The last Blackwell series game almost made me cry, but I was just too confused to actually feel many emotions. Things were happening, sad. I didn't get it. It's just like, what's actually happening right here? Okay, my eyes hurt. I can't look at anything.
She's crying already just thinking about video games.
Video games. They're so great. Can't help it, guys. Oh wait, girls don't have the emotional capacity for video.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
Bringing that back up.
Oh yeah.
It's by a contradiction.
Hey, everyone should check out that article I did several months ago.
Oh, I saw it ages ago. I saw it when it came out.
Shameless self-promotion. Hey.
Shameless GameCola promotion.
Hey.
For our own actual internet website that we're podcasting for.
Yeah.
Hey, we actually do things on the internet. We don't just podcast or post videos. Hey.
Wait, we do?
Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Hey. Okay, I'll stop.
It's not the end of the podcast yet, Anna. Stop trying to end the podcast prematurely.
I'm not trying to end the podcast.
We're going Mega Man 9. We're calling in Plug Man.
Hey.
Is it illegal for children to rent mature video games?
Yes.
I don't think you can get that far unless you have a fake ID, in which that is illegal.
Well, okay, wait.
How young are we talking?
For children to what? Mature video games?
Rent.
Oh,
wait, I have a question, though.
I mean, that's a problem with the store that's giving it to them. They're not supposed to have them, but I mean, it's not illegal.
Yeah, like, it's not like alcohol. Like, it's not like...
No, it's not.
You gave a child a mature video game. You're going to prison now.
I mean, considering the amount of 12-year-olds that play Call of Duty, I would say there's certainly something wrong with it, but it's not, like, forbidden expressly.
It's not a huge problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Call of Duty has anything to say about it, it's a moderate problem.
Yeah.
You know, though, like...
I mean, I'm fine with, 15-year-olds even playing Call of Duty or mature video games. Like, playing GTA 5, you could be, 15, 16 and playing that. That's that's fine by me. But if you're 10 and you're playing, Call of Duty, it's like... Or, you're playing, GTA 5 and you're, 10 years old, it's like, I think you might just be a little too young.
And then parents get mad when they, when they buy these games for their children.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like that definitely used to be the case, but I feel like I haven't heard anything about that. I think, it's sort of gotten through, parents with young children like that have been alive through video games long enough to understand, that they're not, that there are mature video games. Like, I think anyone who was alive through the, like, you know, the shooter craze of the early to late 2000s would be familiar with the fact that James can get... I was about to say that James can get really James, calm down, dial it back.
I mean, you're not actually wrong.
But
I am one of those people. I am a rage gamer.
But it was just like the issue, as was described by the parents, usually was that they just assumed that video games for children.
I bought this game for my child, and it's super violent, and the person is just like, "Oh, well, I kind of told you that, but that's fine." But I agree.
Can you please remove all the blood?
There was a conception that video games were for children. Like, anytime you made a video game, it was with the intent to sell it to children, regardless of what maturity rating. So, like, the idea that you would, like, you know, it's like putting in, like if it was like Club Penguin, rest in peace.
No, it's still out there.
It's kind of, I think. Like,
they have like basically it's the exact same thing as back.
Yeah, they're making a new game.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's like in Club Penguin, like having like a tab where it's like play a mature shooter version of Club Penguin, like up in the top right. And it's like you have to be, and it says like explicitly you got to be 18 to do this, but it's like it's still like this is for like the audience here is children. You can't just like put a thing that says if you're market something, put something in a market for children, and then just say, hey, don't buy this, kids. Which is not how it worked. I won't point out that's not how I'm saying it worked, but that's like I think the situation that parents imagined is like you know putting something putting a rated R movie in a McDonald's play place. Like that's what it felt like to them. But I think parents these days, you know, are familiar with the fact that games can be more mature, and so there's still the parents who are like, yeah, I'll buy my kid a rated M game, whatever. But they're not like surprised that it has mature content. They just either respect the maturity of their child or don't care very much.
Get a Doom toy based with every purchase of a Happy Meal.
Oh,
yeah.
Popcorn is for movies. What is for video games?
Doritos
and Mountain Dew.
That's a really good question.
Doritos.
I whatever.
But okay,
whatever.
Doritos are too like that's a brand. Like you need something less specific. Like you don't say like
chips and pop.
But I don't drink.
No, those make your controllers sticky.
You need something like more general audience. Well, part of the problem is that playing
is
a
that
video
general
game,
enough for you?
What did you say?
I said food.
Thank you.
General Mills.
You're welcome.
Now you're going back to brands. The issue, though, is that like when you're playing one of those video game, you've got to use your hands. Like you got to play it. It's not like a movie where it's a passive experience.
Protein shakes.
That is a good point.
Which I think is why there isn't like this established food like there. Also, like when you're playing a video game, you're in the video game. You're using your fridge in your house. Whereas like movies and popcorn, it's because movie theaters sell popcorn to you at the theater. So
when you go to a GameStop, they just have like fit there to give you. Like you can purchase this with your purchase of your game.
They have a rotisserie hot dog stand behind the counter.
Oh man.
I guess it is right though that like the traditional foods associated with
video
unhealthy
game problem
chips.
Question mark?
That's not even unhealthy chips, just chips that would make your controllers all sticky and awful to hand to a second player.
Yeah, because I've also heard like Cheetos and soda, but I think Doritos and Mountain Dew is the current conventional video game food.
OMG, WTF, BBQ selling video games? Question mark.
What?
Is that actually?
I have several questions.
Yeah.
What was the most selling video games for each console so far? That is the.
It's called Wikipedia.
Off the top of my head, let me
up.
see how many I can get off the. Someone pull up the Wikipedia article. I'm going to try to do this.
Wii Sports. Wii Sports.
No, it's hey. Excuse me. Oh, you
He's
said
the one
that.
doing.
It's
For the record, I was
console,
gonna
by
say
the
that.
way.
Console.
Sorry.
It's like Lysol, except
I wasn't reading it. I was just guessing.
So NES Mario Duck Hunt, Mario Cross Duck Hunt. Someone on the Wikipedia page to verify me.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. I mean, the number one selling video game of all time is Wii Sports, and that only just beat Mario X Duck Hunt.
Okay,
Oh my
so I've got the
gosh.
top
Those
two.
two games were the number one selling video games of all time.
For
Oh.
SNES, is it Super Mario World?
Probably.
Oh,
Either that or
SNES?
one of the JRPGs.
SNES.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, launch titles are usually going to be really close.
Yeah.
Actually,
Gotta
Super Mario
scroll
World
to
was a
this.
launch title, right?
I don't know.
Oh wait.
For America at least.
Yeah, it was for America.
Then what was the launch title for Japan?
I mean, I'm not sure. I think it
I'm
was
pretty
also
sure, 'cause I'm
Super
pretty
Mario
sure
World.
The launch title for Japan was also Super Mario World, because the Japanese version of Super Mario World came out like 2 years early.
Oh, I think I'm confusing it because Super Mario Bros. Was not for Japan, but it was for the US. I'm pretty sure Super Mario World.
F-Zero and Super Mario World.
F-Zero.
Yes.
That was a
Interesting.
launch title?
Yes.
I would
Oh, so
not
those are the
guess
lost.
that.
But which was the best selling?
Oh, Super Mario
Yeah,
World.
Super Mario
Okay.
World, without a doubt.
Give me
But
another.
the thing is,
give me
F-Zero
another.
is not going to sell as well as Super Mario World.
A quick look at Wikipedia tell me is that Super Mario World was number one because it was packaged with the Super Nintendo in America.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And then Super Mario All Stars is number two.
That makes sense.
But does that include? There's two versions of Mario All Stars. There's one with there's one with 1, 2, 3, and then Lost Levels, and then there's one with 1, 2, 3, Lost Levels, and Mario World. So I'm not sure if that's counting that or whatnot.
I mean, like sometimes they'll count both of them. Like the DS was like the best selling console. They counted the DS, the DS Lite, and the DSi, and the DS XL.
Mm-hmm.
So like
The 3DS, the new 3DS.
they didn't count those. Those are separate. I don't know if the new 3DS is counted separately though.
The new 3DS is counted with the 3DS.
Okay.
Yeah, they all run the same software.
But the 3DS can't run new 3DS
But
games.
they run approximate. I can confirm that they run. As someone who's been dealing with similar things in relation to how these 3DSs operate, I can tell you that they run almost the same software.
It's
a
kind of
close
like
enough a close enough facsimile that it really doesn't make. There's basically just a couple differences which just determine. You know, like the new 3DS just has additional features that let it do new 3DS exclusive stuff.
so
Is
like
there-
the Game Boy Color.
I mean, actually, I mean, sort of, but that's actually not part of the OS. If you hack your old 3DS, you can totally run Game Boy Color games. They're just kind of slow.
Whoa.
It's
don't
more
think
of
that's
a,
what
it
Jay's
is a
question
software
was.
switch, but it's more like that's more just like checking what the system is. It's not like
I
it
don't-
doesn't have the capability. It's just disabled.
I don't think that was what Jetty's question was. I think Jetty was comparing the Game Boy Color to the original Game Boy,
Yeah.
not to the new 3DS.
Oh, I see.
I mean, the Game Boy Color and the new 3DS are basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
they both play Game Boy Color games.
yeah. I
They
mean,
both
what
play
more do you
3DS
want?
games. I mean,
Oh.
No, that's the GameCube. The GameCube plays 3DS games.
My head hurts again.
Why is there not an adapter for the Wii or the Wii U that lets you play DS or 3DS games?
Well, the
on
Wii U can play DS games.
but not an adapter. Like like the.
I mean, the Wii
like
could
the
play
SNES
DS games.
had the
Phoenix
Game
Wright
Boy
Trilogy was
player.
released for WiiWare.
And
yeah.
the GameCube had the Game Boy Advance player, but the Wii and the Wii U don't have DS and 3DS players. What's the biz, Nintendo?
What
Making
is
money
going
the
on?
biz. Making money is the biz. They say if you want to play Game Boy Color games and that kind of stuff, you buy a 3DS.
See, because what if you got so you've got okay here's what I'm proposing. You play a Game Boy Color game on 3DS for Wii U. Like you have a Wii U thing
Oh
that
my
can play
gosh.
3DS, and you use it to play a Game Boy Color game.
I don't think the Wii U is actually powerful enough to emulate the 3DS.
I was waiting for you to say that I don't believe that the Wii U is powerful enough to play a Game Boy Color game.
That's not a dig at the Wii U, but I mean, like, they are completely different processors, so the only way they could make those games run is to emulate them, and you need, like, several times the amount of processing. Like, the Wii U and 3DS CPUs, like, I mean, the Wii U's CPU is certainly more powerful than the 3DS, but it is not nearly powerful enough to run emulation of another fairly complex CPU.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is
our modern computers can't run perfect Super Nintendo emulation yet.
Long story short, the Wii U can't play Game Boy Color games.
Long story short, the Wii U can't play video games.
Yeah, the Wii U can't play anything.
Oh.
I think it's about time we move on to games we've been playing if we want to wrap up the podcast in a timely fashion.
Yeah, I had to close all the Yahoo answer things. My head hurts too much. I can't look at this.
Okay. Everyone pick a number between 1 and 4.
7.
27.
Alright, Jetty, since you picked an actual number in the range, tell us what video games you know.
I didn't say anything because I was too shocked on when I heard 27.
Well, Jetty, as the only person who said a number, you get to tell us what video games you're playing. And please go into as much detail as you want, because apparently you're the only one who wants to tell us what video games they've been playing.
Because some people can't count.
Nailed it.
2.
James, we did it.
Oops.
So, I actually haven't been playing games recently.
Alright, way to go. Great podcast, guys.
All right.
See ya. Bye.
Wraps it up.
Alright, well, thanks for listening to the GameCola Podcast. Go to our internet, I guess. Bye.
We don't play video games. Well, thanks for joining us on the Cola Podcast.
Yeah.
Jenny, that's your new tagline. We don't play video.
Yeah.
Alright, who has played a video game in times?
Me.
Alright, John, what video game did you play?
I played Ninja Gaiden yesterday, the original for the NES.
Why?
Because I like torturing myself.
I mean, yeah.
God,
Seems
that's
like a bad time.
It is a hard. Yeah, just what I needed with the stress of life. I need more stress.
It's fine.
Yeah, it seemed like a bad strategy, TBH.
Yeah.
Have you played this game before?
Yes, I have, and I've beaten it before.
How many
Oh,
times?
wow.
How many? Once.
Mm.
As to how many times I started it, oh god.
Yeah.
That's probably in the teens somewhere.
How far do you usually get before giving up?
Actually, stage 6-2 is the hardest stage in the entire game.
Isn't that like the second to last, or like the second to last?
Yes, that is the second to last level. God, it's so much fun though. When you're, it's one of those games where you hate every single minute when you're playing it, but when you're done, you're just like, God, that was a lot of fun.
It's okay, John. This is a safe place.
I actually got to the final boss yesterday, and I almost beat him, and then it stopped and sent me back to stage 6-1, and I went to bed.
And then I went to sleep and tried to forget it ever happened.
I also played Super Castlevania 4 that same day. Good times. Yeah, a lot of fun. I wanted to show a friend because he's super into horror stuff, and like, dude, this will be awesome, right up your alley. And when I played, this is cool, and then didn't say anything after that.
What happened to the other 3 Super Castlevanias? Like, it's the 4th Super Castlevania, but I've only ever...
It was only Super because it came out on Super Nintendo.
And that was its thing.
But what happened to the other Super Castlevanias is a thing. Like, there's Castlevania 1, 2, and 3 NES. So then there's, like, Castlevania 4 for the NES, I guess. But then what about So there's Super Castlevania 4. Was that a remake of Castlevania 4 for the NES?
I mean, was Super Mario World a remake of Mario World for the NES?
Yes.
Was Super Mario Brothers a remake of the original Mario Brothers?
Well,
yes.
Technically,
story-wise... Why do you keep saying things that are true? Like, I don't understand the point you're trying to make.
I was looking at the 10 reasons earlier for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. but it's not the arcade game, it's the NES version. But the
arcade game.
But the arcade game is just called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
that's because the NES version came after that, and
they
wanted to market it as, "Hey, this is the arcade version you all love." Well, actually not.
Yeah, because there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES, but for some reason they didn't call the arcade game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the arcade game.
Yeah,
they called it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
That's because the first game was nothing like the arcade game. That's when they decided to tell the truth for some reason. They decided to lie with the sequel.
Also, Joe, to continue your question, was Mario Kart 64 the 64th game in the series?
James, why do you keep just saying things that are correct? I don't understand.
Because I'm always right, apparently.
Speaking
I appreciate that you know so much about video games.
Story speaking, Super Castlevania 4 is a remake of Castlevania 1.
That's true, actually. That is right.
Alright, see, now you're just speaking nonsense.
But see, if I liked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, and I went to the arcade and I said,
No,
"Hello,
not
do you
Teenage
have
Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. It's either Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. There is not a sequel to the arcade game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game 2.
If I went to the arcade and I said, "Hi, I would like to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, do you have it?" they would say no.
But we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1.
That's why you just ask, do you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And then if they say which one, then you get more specific. It solves all the problems. Just be vague until they ask you to be specific.
I don't think any arcade has that version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anyway. Like, I'm pretty sure they all use updated now.
Do you have turtles?
I like turtles.
You have any form of video game turtle in this establishment.
And then they show you Frogger.
Battletoads.
Battletoads, yes.
Oh boy.
They can show you a copy of the PC point-and-click Aesop's Fables, The Tortoise and the Hare.
Oh my god.
They give you Mega Man for DOS.
Okay, so is that just like a non sequitur, or am I missing?
We have a review for that one.
Ports that have nothing to do with the games that they're based
Oh, okay.
on.
I thought it was. I didn't know if there was something it had to do with Turtle.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, that's how we started this, didn't we?
I mean, there was that one boss in like Mega Man 5 or Mega Man 4 that was like a giant turtle thing. Like it spawned a bunch of turtles. I think it was
that was Mega Man 3.
Yeah, it was Mega Man. Was it Mega Man 3? Maybe it was.
Yeah, because it's weak to Shadow Blade.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the giant like random turtle robot spawning thing. Like you're in the water.
There's also a turtle robot in Mega Man 7, like the third castle stage boss.
GameCola.net, Mega Man and other games.
Phoenix Wright and other games.
Ace Attorney and other games.
Anna, have you played a video game?
What are video
games?
No, remember,
Yes,
Anna is a video game.
I am video game.
Anna, you have been playing video games. I can confirm.
Yes. James and I have been playing Valhalla for the GameCola YouTube channel.
What?
GameCola YouTube channel? I've never heard of that console.
Oh my gosh. I've also been playing, I've been replaying The Secret of Monkey Island, because I like that game.
Oh.
And that's no secret.
On Monkey Island.
Bob.
I prefer Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana Island.
Secret of Evermore?
Or Secret
Mana
of
what?
Mana. Sorry, Jetty, wouldn't you call it Secret of Mana?
No, I call it Secret of Mana.
Oh.
You're thinking
I
of
thought
Paul.
Somebody
Paul's
used
the one
to
who
pronounce
says
it
all things
Mario
wrong.
and Mana, where it's actually
Paul.
Mario and Mana, where it's actually Mario and Mana.
Oh yeah, he does call it Mana.
How does he say
He's the reason I say Chrono Trigger, and I hate it.
I call it Chrono Trigger.
Chrono?
Yeah. I hate it.
I know that. I
playing...
actually got that from H.C. Bailey, but...
I've also been playing Grim Fandango because I can finally play it on my computer because I got a new computer for Christmas and I just never tried it. But I can play it now, so that's good.
I think you mean Grim Fandango?
Grim Fandango.
Grim Fandango?
Grim Fandango.
Yeah, it's like the dark version of the ticket company.
Yeah. Goth. Free goth movies.
I've also been playing a lot of Temple Run because I got a new and it can actually hold more than like 2 apps.
So you got a
It's
new phone, and what do
amazing.
you decide to play? A game from 5 years ago.
I love Temple Run, okay?
Alright, I can admit it is a good game.
I'm good. Oh, and Plants vs. Zombies. I got that on there too because it's a lot of fun. And Puzzle Quest. Anyway.
Who hasn't gone? James? Joe?
I don't think either of us have gone.
Well,
Somebody go.
James and I
Alright.
are apparently not good at counting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
So we go last.
I've also been playing Valhalla with Anna, and I've also just been at home, like in my house. I've actually been replaying, or rather, not replaying, but playing again. I've been playing Dragon Quest VIII for the PS2,
Oh.
which is that's an awesome game. I forgot how, like, it's funny because my dad was the one who actually got me into it, which is funny because he's rarely ever into video games, but he sunk like 140 hours into that game. And I'm right on the way. I'm only about 100 hours short of his playthrough so far. And I'm not even halfway through the game yet. But yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Nice.
I aside from Overwatch, today I actually played. I got on a Super Mario Galaxy 2 kick. I played through Super Mario Galaxy 1 a while ago, and I just saw some videos about it that were just like some fun shortcuts to take. And so I started playing it. Super Mario Galaxy 2, not as good as Super Mario Galaxy 1 in my opinion.
Oh,
Like,
that's...
You shut your crazy mouth.
That's an unpopular opinion, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I know, but like Super Mario Galaxy 2 just like feels like there's just all this like all these weird little add-ons just like thrown in that like aren't like
I mean,
great.
that
Like,
was the point.
But the
Like-
level design.
Like Super Mario Galaxy 2 was literally just gonna be DLC for Super Mario
Right.
Galaxy 1.
And it feels like it. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is all of the levels that weren't good enough for the game. It's all the ones that got
Whoa.
cut.
Those are fighting words right there.
No, they are. They said this is a fact. Maybe not the quality, but it is a fact that a large portion of the levels of Super Mario Galaxy 2 are ones that were cut from Super Mario Galaxy 1.
Yes.
Yeah, but not because they weren't good enough.
Yeah, that was because of size constraints. Like, they couldn't fit it all onto the disc.
Yes, but let me ask you this. If you're going to cut something out of your video game, do you cut the good stuff?
I mean,
Yes,
if they're
because of
all
constraints.
equally as good, if they're all equally as good,
But
you
they're
just have to
not.
pick them arbitrarily.
They're not. There's no way they can all be equally. There's a reason that they only
I
two
mean, there are
stars
bad
in each of
levels in
them.
Super Mario Galaxy 1. Why didn't they cut those?
Because they're not as bad as I like.
I don't know.
That-
I think the bad levels in Super Mario Galaxy 2 are not as bad as the worst ones in Super Mario Galaxy 1, honestly.
What about when?
Like the
Stuff-
ball rolling ones.
The
What
ball,
about when-
I love the ball rolling ones.
What about when stuff
They
gets
don't
cut
work,
from
though.
bad games?
What?
Wait,
What about when stuff gets cut from bad games? You know, bad games
Hopefully
become bad
it was
games
worse.
because they cut stuff down.
I don't think that's how it works. Look,
Uh,
I'm not talking about any individual level specifically. I'm just saying that in general, right, the levels from Mario Galaxy 2 would be worse than the ones in Mario Galaxy 1, because if they were better, they would have put them in Mario Galaxy 1. Because they didn't know for sure that they were going to make Mario Galaxy 2.
I think they did because they're Nintendo.
But they didn't, while they were making the levels, they didn't plan on it.
Well, yes, but when they decided they were going to make Mario Galaxy 2, how do you know they didn't go and improve all of the levels that they cut?
Because I've
So
played
that they
Super
were on
Mario
par or
Galaxy 2.
better?
And it's not as good as the first one. The levels are much
I mean,
more like
that's still
levelly.
subjective, though.
But so the levels are much more like the presentation is just like taking a step back. Like it doesn't feel like I'm on a space adventure. It just feels like I'm traveling from like little set of level to another little set of level.
The first one was like that.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but the first one was like a bunch
was a
of
lot
planets.
like that.
The second one takes a lot of focus away from the whole like gravity thing, and it's just a lot more just like regular levels.
Did the original Mario Galaxy have the ones where like you had giant rooms of like switching gravity? Like different parts of the like the box had like different gravity going different directions?
Yeah. It had a lot of those.
I remember Super Mario Galaxy 2 had a bunch of those.
Super Mario Galaxy 2, maybe in the later levels, but I've played through the first two worlds across that once.
Well, you can't just call the game bad because you've only played through the first two.
I have played Super Mario Galaxy 2 multiple times before.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically how many of the levels have that weird thing, but the first two worlds, there's been one level, and I know in Super Mario Galaxy 1 that there were a lot. Like, it was a boss thing. Also, like, the mechanics are just sort of, like, inserted with no, like, pomp and circumstance.
At
like,
least they don't have the spring. At least they don't have the spring anymore.
That I will. Okay, I will admit that.
And the rock power up is
was a good
fun.
thing. The rock power up is like cool idea, but it's like impossible to control, and like it just becomes rolling straight line and hit.
But it's not any less possible to control than rolling the ball with motion controls or Spring Mario.
No,
Again,
I can roll. I can control Spring Mario. I will admit was a mistake. I can control the rolling ball in Mario Galaxy 1 a lot better than I can control the rock rolling thing in Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Well, the rock rolling in Mario Galaxy 2, you're not supposed to control. That literally is a power-up where you go straight.
Yeah,
but
like you're not. You don't have to.
You're going to go, and then you shake, and then you just go forward.
That's all control there is.
Right, and it's like there's only so many times I can smash into a wall of puzzle where I'm like, this is not that fun.
Well, that's like your opinion, man.
Yeah, but that's not an issue because it's hard to control, though. That's just that you...
No, there are places where you have to control it. There's, like, sections, where, like, in the first level introduced, you have to, like, destroy, like, 20 enemies with the thing, and it's in this circle.
It's like a bowling... There's, like, a couple bowling things, like, you have to knock over a certain number of things,
that is
but they are in a direct line, like, they're in a single straight line,
no,
which
no,
you
no,
can
I'm
aim
talking...
yourself on.
There is that stuff is fun. That I like the bowling pin enemies, but no, there's like there's a part of the level where there's just like a circle of those pink rock shooter enemies, and you just got to go back and forth and try to hit them, and they move, and you can't move left or right once you get started, and it's really hard to control, and it's just you're just mowing back and forth like 20 times until you finally hit all of them.
I don't remember that level. I'll have to go back and look.
And like Yoshi. I like the idea of Yoshi. He's just so awkward to control, and it doesn't the way he jumps just doesn't work well with the gravity and the whole the tongue thing.
I want you to play Super Mario Galaxy 2, and when you finish it, I want you to go back to Super Mario Galaxy 1 and then then give yourself another comparison of what you remember. You're like, oh man, I sure wish this worked like it did in this other game or something like that, because that was what happened to me.
Like what? What did you wish worked like the other one? I feel like the
level design is not any worse than it was in Mario Galaxy. In fact, I feel like they fine-tuned it so that there's not so many instances of you don't know where to go, or it's really hard to get somewhere, or you're really at risk of falling off of stages, because they had more time to kind of tune the level design to how the gravity worked, because there were some stages in the original Mario Galaxy where you could kind of tell they were still just learning how the whole gravity worked, and some like certain areas, like you had to jump between two planets that were close together, and the gravity didn't behave quite right, and it was kind of hard to get around.
That has happened to me many times in Super Mario Galaxy 2. I can think of 5 off the top of my head where the gravity just didn't work.
Well, but I'm saying I would be willing to bet that there are the same number of instances where that happens in Mario Galaxy 1.
Yeah, I would say about the same, but it's not. It doesn't feel that much better.
Well, maybe it's not any better, but I wouldn't say it's significantly worse.
Do we want to do a debate cast on this?
I was going to say, is this the rebirth of the debate cast?
I would totally be down for that, except I don't have enough time to play. I haven't played Super Mario Galaxy 2 in long enough to make sure that my opinions are on point. So
we can give you time.
I have it with me in my dorm.
I have it with me in my house. I just don't have the time to go back and play it.
We'll put it on the doc. Can I just say one last
add it
thing
to the to-do list.
before we wrap up the podcast?
Joe, it doesn't matter if someone else says something else. You were the one who edits the podcast.
This is a good point.
Curses. Foiled again.
Look, okay, here's the thing. I want to maintain an air of like this is like a community thing. Like we don't need to like always know that I'm in 100% control and I can edit James to sound really wrong and like just change all of his arguments to sound terrible. We don't need to know that. We don't need to pay attention.
We don't need to know that. I can still do it, but we don't need to let the
we don't need to talk about it.
I have the power.
The Bowser boss fights. Not the Bowser Jr. boss fights. I would say those are, off the top of my head, equal or Mario Galaxy 2 might be a little bit better. I have only played one. I need a refresher on which one is which.
Yeah, the Mario Galaxy 1 was where you, like, run around, you have to, like, get him to smash into, like, the little lava bits and burn himself, and then you can spin into him. The Super Mario Galaxy 2 is where he's gigantic, and you have to, like, ground pound these giant, like, meteors. Into him.
Yeah, and it's just, like there's
I mean, they're both, like, just the rule of 3. They're both, like, really simple once you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Right, but, like, the one in Mario Galaxy 1, like, first of all, the presentation of, like, you show up, and then there's just, like, this trumpet, and it just, like, goes, wah, and it's a scene of Mario and Bowser, and you're just like, this is the fight. Like, this is the rivalry. And it's just, like, it's just regular Mario versus regular Bowser, and it's just, they fight, and this is how it works. And
but
then,
the
like,
stakes
when you
are higher in Mario Galaxy 2.
Just because he's big?
Yeah, it's like more dramatic. It's like, okay, you have it's like the foe is even tougher than he was in the first game.
But he's not. He just makes a meteor appear and then you ground. It even shows you on the thing where
Bowser's
exactly the
incompetence
ground
doesn't have
pound.
anything to do with it.
What?
I mean, just because Bowser's incompetent doesn't mean, like, the presentation doesn't try to
but
make
I
it
mean,
more
like,
epic.
the meteors have this, like, little graphic that show exactly where to ground pound to hit Bowser with it.
That's just the ground pound symbol that's on everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, they orient it on the meteor.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think they really needed to do that, but, I mean, it could be, it might be difficult. I mean, the game's supposed to cater to anybody, so, you know, you might not realize that, that symbol's been on everything I can ground pound so far. If it isn't on this, then I must not be able to ground pound it.
And it's just like, and it's like when it's so much more satisfying even though you do have to, like, make Bowser to hit the lava, it's so much more satisfying to, like, the actual, like, damage hit is you spinning into him and hitting him. And you do that a couple times. So instead of hitting him with a meteor and the meteor doing this, you trick him into becoming vulnerable, and then you punch Bowser multiple times. And that's much more satisfying. Also, and again, subjective maybe, but the music is much better. And the mechanics, like the way it's, like, set up, like, thematically, like the first boss you fight in Super Mario Galaxy 1 is the Piranha Plant. And what you do is you go and you have to hit it and you have to, like, chase it the same way. You have to end up hitting and chasing Bowser in his boss fight. But they reuse that in Super Mario Galaxy 2, but it's much less effective because it has nothing to do, like, the way you defeat Bowser has nothing to do with, like, anything else. Like, they have to introduce the mechanic in the Bowser level because you haven't seen it anywhere else in the game. So you have to, like, arbitrarily hit these meteors into these locks so that you know what the mechanic is by the time you actually get to them.
Joe?
Yeah? Do we need to end? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The boss fights in Super Mario Brothers 1 is lazy because you run across the stage and touch an axe.
I mean,
every single time.
Oh my god.
Super Mario 3 did it right.
But even in Super Mario Bros. 3, you wait until Bowser kills himself.
You dodge out of the way of Bowser's attacks, which is what you do in Super Mario Galaxy 2. You have to dodge his punch because he punches these meteors towards you. You have to dodge out of the way of the ones you can't ground pound, and then jump onto the ones you can.
You never actually get to punch Bowser.
Debate cast.
You didn't punch Bowser in Mario 3 or Mario 1.
What I'm saying, Mario Galaxy 1 has the best Bowser boss fight.
Mario 64 is the only game where you can punch things.
Hold it!
Whoa.
I think we derailed.
I think we
significantly.
can save this for another time.
Yeah, we
Oh my
derailed
God.
this significantly. I apologize.
Thank
Do you have
you
any evidence to back up that claim?
for listening to the James is Wrong About Mario Galaxy
Hey.
podcast.
Okay. Hey,
He's
guess what,
naturally the
guys?
witness.
Guess what? We have an actual internet website.
And it's called
GameCola.net.
Super Mario Galaxy 2 is not as good as Super Mario Galaxy 1.net.
Also visited us
Also
on our
the
YouTube
YouTube-
page, Joe is Wrong Cola.
It's actually
Our
called
YouTube page,
GCDotNet.
GC,
Joe is
the word
wrong.
letter-
Cola.
Ah, God.
Yeah, the letters G, the
Letters
letter
G.
C, the word dot, the word net.
The letter J, the letter I, the letter W.
Give me a K. Give me an I.
You
Give
can
me...
also
Give me
post on
another
Facebook
L.
and Twitter
Show me.
and tell everyone how much better Super Mario Galaxy 1 there. If you can post that.
We have Facebook.
All right, do
and
we want to
Twitter.
actually
have
like
an
redo?
email.
Let's redo the outro just so we don't have five people
Podcast
talking over each other.
GameCola.net.
It's clear. It's fine.
I'm crying.
Does anyone... Okay, if you were listening to this for the first time, can
This
you
is
like
not very
comment
professional.
or email us or something to let us know? See, we can...
If you like Super Mario Galaxy 1 more than 2, please like, comment, subscribe.
I'm done.
You
I
know-
took off my headphones. I'm done.
I was gonna say, if this is your first time listening, just send us an email. It's like, well, wait, but we legitimately messed up the house cleaning or housekeeping.
Oh my God.
I think we got it. Okay.
Podcast
Real
at
Yeah, we
Joe
can
is
do it.
wrong.
Real quick.
.org.
Hey, everyone. We're
Internet
on
is
iTunes,
GameCola.net. YouTube is GC.net, the letter G, the letter C, the word dot, the word net. Facebook and Twitter, just search GameCola. You can find us on iTunes and rate us highly if you think Mario Galaxy 1 is better than Mario Galaxy 2.
If you don't
and-
like us, don't look for us.
And comment, and
Still rate us
you can,
highly,
you can
please.
do things on the Facebook and Twitter. You can write comments or tweets, and we can read your questions out on the podcast if you want.
Yay.
And you can
And make
also
sure to
send
email us at podcast@gamecola.net if you want to actually ask us questions directly.
podcast@jamesiswrong.net.
Hey.
We will answer your poorly asked Yahoo Answers questions.
Is that everything?
I believe so.
I think
We have a
so.
Tumblr, but it's
Yeah,
not
Facebook.
actually there.
Check out Cold Cut Reviews once a month on the GameCola YouTube channel.
GC.net.
Woof, woof.
Okay. Goodbye for real this time.
Hey,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so, real
I
talk.
was not expecting
Real
it to
talk.
Wow.
Okay, anyway.
Whoa!
Okay.
Did
Let's
not
go.
expect that to go.
My bad, my bad.
I
What?
have so much hate in my heart.
For what? Wait. What's everyone upset about? That was great.
It was great, but like I just my
I
head
got way too into
is
that.
pounding.
No, that
I
was
should've-
great, James. That was like the best.
I was
Needed
just
someone
sitting
to
here
argue
in
with.
silence, going like, "Oh my god, are they legit?"
James,
That's
James.
right now.
James, I'm 100% sincere. I'm
Jenny and I had a whole
so
conversation. It was great.
James,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you like Super Mario Galaxy 2 more than Super Mario Galaxy. I am happy. Like that is great. That was the best.